Load up your 6-shooter, crack your whip, and giddy up, partner!
Calm it down!
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 video game westerns. For this list, we ranked the best games set in the Wild West, with one game per franchise.
I think he's still alive!
Not for long!
Number 10, Mad Dog McCree.
Mad Dog, you don't stand a chance.
Okay, so its acting may be a bit cheesy,
There's more inside!
but during the Laserdisc era, FMV games like this one were all the rage.
Show them what we did.
The titular outlaw and his gang of henchmen have taken over a sleepy town and kidnapped the mayor's daughter, so it's up to you to fire away at them with your revolver. There's not much else to the gameplay, but the enjoyably campy setting is enough to keep you hooked for a while. Number 9, Wild Arms. This JRPG is set in the fantasy world of Filgaia, but the landscape looks a lot like the Wild West, and the music fits the scenery. The compelling story has you help 3 young heroes known as Dream Chasers on their mission to prevent demons from destroying the world. You fight them through the engaging turn-based battle system, which is shown in gorgeous 3D. It does lose a few points because there are sections of the game where it forgets its Western theme, though it's still strong enough to earn the 9th slot. Number 8, Gun.Smoke. Not to be confused with the long-running TV show of a similar name, in this top-down scrolling shooter arcade classic, you play as a cowboy who takes the law into his own hands, much to the chagrin of the bad guys. The 3-way shooting system limits your control, but it's plenty to get the job done here, especially when you acquire a horse, which protects you for at least 3 hits. Number 7, Call of Juarez, Gunslinger.
What'd you say? I can't hear a goddamn thing!
The most recent installment in this series of first-person shooters perfected the experience. Protagonist Silas Greaves is a bounty hunter, and it's up to you to help him take out his enemies as he recounts his battles.
I'm telling you, Garrett's men were dropping like flies, but they just kept on coming.
I think I got one!
Though you find, as the game progresses, he's not always forthright with the truth.
Mumbo Jumbo's right. Are you making this all up as you go?
Accordingly, the structure of the levels changes to reflect the fluctuating details in his stories. Whether they're real or not, the bullet time gun duels are always a blast. Number 6, Gun.
Indians made off with a box of TNT last night. They're aiming to use it, I'm sure.
We'll talk about that other open-world third-person western in a bit, but this title did a good job of introducing gamers to the style. It tells the classic revenge story of Cole, an Apache who hopes to avenge the deaths of his loved ones. It's got gameplay to match, whether you're riding on horseback while firing your revolver or just playing poker. Watch out for bears though, those guys can really screw up your day. Number 5, Red Steel 2.
I'm gonna cut your throat with your own katana!
This cel-shaded FPS takes the western to the east, as you fight the evil gang of jackals in a Japanese, pseudo-ancient town with a Wild West theme. You might find yourself reaching to draw your gun, or slashing away at your enemies with a katana. The original Red Steel was a Yakuza-themed launch title for the Wii, which had control issues. But for this sequel, the Wii Motion Plus system was used to create a much more responsive experience. Altogether, the unique visuals really sealed the package. Number 4, Oddworld, Stranger's Wrath.
Never going back! I got dignity!
You do not want to know.
No, not a puzzle platformer like its prior entries. Instead, this game is a Western-themed third-person shooter with interesting results.
Yo, brother, you got somebody needs talking to?
It depicts the adventures of a mysterious bounty hunter named the Stranger, as he picks up outlaws to earn enough money, known as moolah, to afford a life-saving operation. One cool point to note is the awesome live ammo, which literally consists of living critters that you use as ammunition for your crossbow, to do everything from stun to just plain blow up your enemies.
No, look, you don't need to do that.
Number 3, Sunset Riders.
You all right, ma'am?
Oh, those terrible men. Please help.
Konami were the kings of co-op arcade in the 1990s, and this side-scrolling run-and-gun action game puts the wild in Wild West. You take control of one of 4 bounty hunters, armed with either revolvers or shotguns, and you fire away at outlaws in the hopes of acquiring rewards. You've got unlimited ammo no matter which guy you play as, so there's very little to distract you from the fast-paced gameplay. This one was a quarter-sucking classic.
Me in heap big trouble.
Number 2, The Oregon Trail. This pioneer simulator is one of the few edutainment games that can legitimately lay claim to being both entertaining and educational. Here, you're a wagon leader in 19th century North America, and it's up to you to get your fellow settlers across the titular trail all the way from Missouri to Oregon. The title's mix of history and fun has made it hugely popular with gamers of all ages for decades. Until, of course, they inevitably die of dysentery, which, in case you didn't know, means you poop yourself to death. Before we get to our number 1, let's take a look at some honorable mentions. Number 1, Red Dead Redemption.
My name's John Marston. You wanted to speak to me.
Honestly, what else were you expecting? Rockstar got their feet wet in the genre with Red Dead Revolver, but its follow-up was literally in a league of its own. The powerful story depicts the betrayals of protagonist John Marston, and it's worthy of the Hollywood films to which it's deeply indebted. The gameplay is equally top-notch, as marking your targets with the Deadeye mechanic makes shooting an absolute breeze. Perhaps most important of all, galloping on horseback across the open plains really makes you feel like you're in the Wild West. Do you agree with our list? Which Western video game made you feel like the next John Wayne? For more blazing top 10s published daily, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
I'll buy you some with this.